Okay, starting out with push day for the week. This is push day number 1. Here I'm just doing some mobilization, just for, get those scapulas moving, kind of get that subscap loosened up, just getting some length out of that pec. Really just trying to get some of that grime out of there. I'm doing about 1.5 minutes per side. Everything's going to be sped up per usual. You can see the trap is kind of locked down with that band, so it helps you really floss some of that stuff out too. So good thing to try out if you guys want to try something new. You can see me just trying to get some motion out of that scapula, build some space in that shoulder. Really just get the old man shit greased up and ready to roll right into it. So that's what that's for. We're going to start with my normal rear delt stuff. Just getting a ton of blood in those rear delts. Man, I really like training my rear delts before pressing. Several reasons. One is just getting the shoulders nice and warmed up. I feel like it opens you up pretty good. Puts a little cushion back there when you're pressing. Just lots of good stuff from the rear delts. And, then you don't have an excuse later to try to skip them. Because a lot of people skip rear delts, and I think you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because, man, shoulders look really, really good when those rear delts are filled out nicely. So that's the objective here. Warm up, build the rear delts, prioritize them. And really just set the tone for a nice day. It's a nice feeling to get a pump right away. And like rear delts, you drive that blood in there and get that pump rolling right away, get a little sweat going. Man, you're ready to dive right into things after that. So typical tri-set that you guys have been seeing me do. This one will probably stay in for a while. I really enjoy it. We're going to move right into a slight incline. We'll call this Smith press of whatever kind. Love this machine. Still trying to learn it. Man, these presses were rough today. Just hard for me to find the pecs until later on in the workout. So you can see me really searching and trying to connect. So lots of different shifting and movement going on. This is me just trying to find the pec and stay on the pec. And I'm not going to continue the workout until everything's firing and everything feels right. So yeah, I probably hung out here for 3-4 sets until I could find the pecs, feel them start firing them, feel them lengthening, and actually start loading the pec the way I want to load the pec, and keep it off, the ligaments and the joints and the antagonist muscles, and not loading the lats. Finding those pecs and keeping tension on them throughout the whole movement is how you grow a muscle. So here I found them pretty well. You can even see them actively pressing out of the bottom. The other thing I'm kind of cueing here is really taking a ton of air in at the bottom. What that's going to do is make the sternum rise, make the rib cage expand, and expose a bit more length, usable length out of that pec. So huge air here in the bottom. This is how you can lift the chest without physically trying to pull the sternum up. So lift the chest from the inside out. I learned that from Coach Danny. Incredibly effective tip. I wish I would have known that years ago. So huge air in the bottom here that lifts the sternum, exposes that pec to be more usable length, right? Here's a different angle where you can see some of that stuff going on a bit better. Man, from what started very rough, these presses ended up feeling so good at this set here. And I'm not going to lie, I spent a lot of time trying to connect with those, and they were just being stubborn. And I took my time, I stayed patient, and I was not going to carry on with the workout until I knew that the muscle was firing the way I intended it to. Same thing here, just trouble trying to find where to put my feet. Nothing felt really good right away. I probably did 6 or 7 sets here before things started feeling right. And that doesn't mean they're all like crazy heavy working sets. Just it took a lot of manipulation. And I ended up here with this semi-supinated, almost fly press combo. And this was it, man. This is the one. Took me a minute to find it. Now, next week, I might be able to go right back into this movement, be able to shave down some time, get those pecs firing a bit sooner, and really, I feel like this is what I had to do to connect with the muscle today. So this movement ended up being the winner. Like I said, I spent way too much time trying to find this one too. And that's the thing, I was still working. I wasn't sitting down. I was just doing more sets, and they weren't all to failure or anything like that. And they were probably still effective at stimulating the muscle. But lately I need things to feel right. I need the muscle to feel fully worked. And I'm not going to carry on until things are moving the way I want to, and things are feeling the way I want to. And sometimes that just takes a little more patience and a little more time than other days. Other days are bang on. You get in the gym, you get warm, start moving blood, and the pump is just exploding, the muscle's exploding. It's not always going to happen. So give your body time to wake up, to acclimate, and just dance with it. Allow it to go when it's ready. And this turned into an incredible working set. Here, this is super sped up because this is a long muscle round set here, 6 sets of 4. At this point, everything felt great. So I did one small feeder set, and then I got right into this set. Again, big air in the bottom. You can see the chest rise, taking a ton of air in at the bottom. On this kind of fly static hold thing, you can see me turning my head because the left pec just wasn't activating as well as the right. So I was kind of leaning into that left, or leaning away from that left, and kind of getting a slightly greater stretch in it to kind of wake it up and tell it, hey, you got to be working over there too, because the right pec's doing all the work. So, little things like that can really go a long way in some of this proprioception that I'm trying to learn that Coach Danny is really changing the game for me. So a lot of my training now revolves around that, just, making things feel right and stay on the muscle, whatever that takes for my body. So whatever manipulations I have to do. Luckily, this home gym, I have a lot of equipment, and I'm going to find something that works no matter what, or I'm not carrying on. Here's just some seated dumbbell side raises. Nothing fancy here. This is a cluster set of 8, so 5 sets of 8. In the bottom here, I'm actually pushing against the bench and almost doing like a mock most muscular. And that's just to keep everything kind of firing in the bottom. And then it's funny when after you're pressing in hard like that, then you go to do the side raise, the dumbbells feel lighter, which should make sense, right? Creating this isotension right here. I'm even using my leg now, and I'm pushing into that. And then as I go to do the side raises, the dumbbells feel lighter. And that should make sense. So you're shortening the muscle here, and then boom, it's ready to go. So these felt really good. This set is really, really slowed down. This set probably lasted 4 minutes long. And just one big giant set, 5 sets of 8, one big cluster set. So really, really good stuff here. And then we finish off with this giant set that you guys are now becoming familiar with. This is the lying Y raise with dumbbells. This week was better. The trajectory is not above my head. It's more out in a Y where it should be. These absolutely blew up my delts. Great feeling here. Here's some heavy partials, typically made famous by John Meadows. You'll see me do a lot of John Meadows stuff. Danny and I are big fans of John. The concept here is just firing those delts out of the bottom. And yeah, I get kind of swingy with them and things like that. And that's how I prefer to do those partials. Here's some banded side partials with a front relax pose hold. Very little rest in this giant set. I just kind of look around and feel like I'm lost, and then we just get right back into it. Yep, and then we slam out this last set here. Overall, what started as a rough workout turned out to be, man, quite a good workout. I left there today feeling really good, really productive, no pain anywhere, which is always a plus, and a big pump. So how can you complain about that? Either way, you'll see me finish up here and hit this front relax mock pose, whatever you want to call it, isotension hold. All good stuff here. Thanks again for you guys watching and all the feedback. Join the Chase Irons forum. We're over there now. Find me at TommyJohnCoaching.com and TommyJohnCoaching on Instagram. Thanks.